Hello, wherever you are. It's the Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. I am your host. Thank you so much for joining us. We love to spend this time with you. We absolutely adore every moment that we get to be able to spend time with you. We appreciate that you are spending this time to get some insight, maybe. We do hope that although the Soul Dive is not for absolutely everybody at every single episode, but that at the right time you will find what you need. That every person who comes does find the right relevant thing for themselves at the time that they need. Of course, this is the Soul Dive. We start out with a check-in, and without further ado, I invite you to find a comfortable place to sit where you can be undisturbed for a little while we do the check-in. It should take about 5 to 7 minutes, maybe a tiny little bit longer. In that time, you need to be just a little bit undisturbed, be able to just take the time. It's a time to pull yourself towards yourself. It's a time to just be you. No labels, no expectations, no names, none of that. It is your moment with yourself, getting yourself acquainted with yourself. Now go ahead and take a nice deep in breath. We're going to take 4 deep breaths, right? And out. Give yourself permission to relax. With each breath, tell yourself, give yourself permission to relax. Relax. Bring your shoulders down. Loosen your muscles. Sink deep into your seat. Another deep in breath. And out. Deep in breath. Releasing all the tension in your body. If there's any part of your body where you feel a little bit of tension, maybe in your back, maybe you were standing all day, maybe in your legs, breathe your in-breath into that place and send some love to yourself in that space. Deep breath in and out. Go ahead and find your normal rhythm of breath. Ideally, this is a breath rhythm that is a little bit more relaxed than just now. Just breathing per normal. Being aware of your breath. You may close your eyes if it will help. Focusing on just your breath. Thoughts are coming. You allow them to come, and just like waves of the sea, go again. We don't give them any space to linger. We allow them to come and go as we focus on our breath. Your breath is coming in. You are aware that your breath is coming in. You can feel your breath, maybe by your nose, coming in, a little bit cooler than your out breath. Maybe you can feel your breath more in your stomach. Feel free to touch where you feel your breath so that you increase your awareness of your breath. You're breathing in and out like normal, finding your natural rhythm of breath. Your natural rhythm of breath. If your breath is a little bit shallower, you're aware that it's shallow. Don't judge it. When you have thoughts come through, you smilingly bring your attention back to your breath. Aware of your breath coming in. Aware of your breath going out. Where do you feel your breath the most? I invite you to place a hand on your heart. Feel the warmth of your hand over your heart. Relax a little bit more. Aware of your heartbeat. Aware of your breath coming in breath going out. You are with your natural rhythm of relaxed breath. Now, I invite you to bring to mind somebody that embodies courage for you. They are patient, they persevere, they listen smilingly even when they don't agree. Maybe sometimes you have been this person. Bring this person to mind so that we can channel the feeling of courage. What does it feel like? Does it feel like boldness? Does it make your heart beat a little bit faster? Is it certainty? Is it resolve? Breathe. Feel your heartbeat as you embrace the feeling of courage. Maybe you remember this feeling from your first day at school, or the first time you did something meaningful. What does it feel like? Breathe as you bask in this feeling and let it wash over you. Feeling of courage, of perseverance, of boldness, of resolve. Now, silently or out loud, say with me, I choose courage over comfort. I am brave and bold in my pursuit of a fulfilled life. I take ownership of my life and take action on my dreams. I am enough. I do enough. I have enough. And take a nice deep breath. As you breathe in, raise your arms up above your head and bring them back in an embrace of yourself. Give yourself a nice squeezy hug. Yes. And thank yourself for taking this moment to take care of yourself in this way. Remember that you can always do this. You can always steal away and take a moment to have a breathing session by yourself, to take a breath and just be for a moment. Now, we are going to have a tiny little moment of a dance song, because this is the soul dive. So I'm going to allow us to have that moment, because of course I don't feel like it's fully the soul dive unless we actually do have such moment. So I'm going to raise the music and then we're going to put it on. My producer's looking at me a little bit funny. Let's go. That was our dance moment, like literally a dance moment. I laugh because it's unlike the soul dive to not play the whole song, but there are issues of what's it called, copyright and when we play music in a live like this. So if you like, I will share the playlist with you on this video when we are done, and you'll be able to actually go ahead and get down with yourself. Let's get into the real meat of tonight's soul dive. We're talking about courage. I am calling it screw it, let's do it. The first time I heard that line, those words were actually, I saw the words on a book by Sir Richard Branson, and he was articulating how, as from the very beginning of his career, he dropped out of college to start a business, and he actually, one decision after another, it was actually things that he was just like, gut feel, this is the thing to do, and he went with it and did what he knew in his heart to do. So the word courage has been burning in my heart for days and days, and this is the soul dive, so I'm not playing with you guys. I usually bring to the soul dive what is authentic, what is real and true, and really brewing in myself and in my consciousness in those days, and this is what it is right now. I was thinking about it and just like, why this word specifically, courage? Because there's so many words of it, and I'll tell you the definitions because I looked it up. And then I realized that courage links to everything. Courage is literally how we synchronize our hearts, our mind, our body to do what we know is right in the face of insurmountable adversity, in the face of uncertainty, in the face of when the reality that we thought is real turns out to actually be manufactured, and you're like, what? This is the Truman Show, and I've been Truman all along? Oh my goodness, you know? It takes courage to hold space for yourself, to actually hear yourself, and to really, really listen. When you find yourself really irritated by some of the news things that come up, and you're like, why does that grind me so? Why does it grate my carrots so? Because we are all going through things, some of them collectively, some of them individually, but the truth is we are experiencing emotions on a scale never before in our lifetime. It may have been experienced by other people in their own lifetimes, but in my skin, in this lifetime, it's the first time that I am able, actually I'm thinking about it now, no, on this scale, it is the biggest. Yes, I've lived in the township when there were riots and it was hectic and there was death and destruction everywhere, and it was a different kind of experience, because then on weekends I could go to Randburg and go live in a totally different world where it seemed like my world I was living in that was full of such turmoil almost didn't exist, you know? And I just think to myself that so much of the time, we've spent our times in our own realities, and now we are finding ourselves actually sitting in a space where we are confronted in a very real way by a shared reality on so many fronts, on our health, on our politics, on the fears that are coming up at us, the prejudices, our own bigotry, being called out on our duplicity, news that seem incongruent with the reality we thought we were living. All of this is bound to bring up some emotions on a large scale. And now here we sit in South Africa on level 2. Yes, children, you've been sitting cooking in your pressure cooker, being told that the world is unfair and everybody hates you. Now go and hang out with the other children. I laugh because you know what? This is sometimes the thing you do when you are just like, yeah, there's going to be a moment of just like incredulously laughing about it while I glitch in my head and work out. what might be happening. By and large, the lockdowns have kept us fairly distant from others. Um, Yet now, with more integration with people, you can really feel the air in shops. I'm imposing myself a lockdown. I'm imposing on myself a situation where I'm more in my own space as much as possible because I'm aware of the tension that is present in the roads, in the like just being outside. It feels like there's so much angst that is going on. And right now, what we need more than anything else is courage. We need courage. What is courage, you may ask? I looked it up, like I said. And Wikipedia, yes, Wikipedia says courage, also called bravery or Old English word valor, is the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. Physical courage is bravery in the face of physical pain, hardship, even death or threat of death, while moral courage is the ability to act rightly in the face of popular opposition, shame, scandal, discouragement, or personal loss. The classical virtue of fortitude is also translated courage, but it includes the aspect of perseverance and patience. You know, for me, courage is what makes a difference in the quality of life we live. Courage is the thing that will help you come back to your partner and sit down and look them in the eye and have a difficult conversation and allow yourself to really, really be seen. There's a quote by Brené Brown that I really like on courage. She says, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen, because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. Oh my goodness. Courage. Courage is the one thing that is going to make a difference for us in this time. We're going to need to practice it for ourselves personally in our own space so that we are able to practice it in our interactions with others. Essentially, for me, courage is the moment when we decide to do what is right, regardless of what hardship comes our way. Courage is the bridge between our hearts and our minds. Sometimes our hearts and our minds are in conflict. Courage calls to us. And when we decide to step into courage, there is a grace in that. You know, some of the things that happen when we choose courage, and courage is that thing that, you know, I learned the patience. I learned the patience part of courage when I was probably like 9 years old and I was waiting for my grandma, and I wasn't sure if she was going to come. We didn't have cell phones then, yes, giving away my age. And I was just like thinking to myself, I'm just going to wait here until she comes. I'm not even going to like even try to walk home. And that may seem like such a small thing, but when you're 9 and you don't know what's going to happen and you're genuinely uncertain, that was my first taste of me being courageous to say, I am making a decision that I will stand by, and I am connecting my heart and mind to say, no matter how long it takes, I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going. It's like choosing to be patient slowly, choosing to wait slowly. Where without courage, you wait, but the element of patience is not there. In a conversation, this would show up in a way where you choose to listen rather than craft what you are going to say in response. When someone is coming at you with a truth Maybe they are lived truth that is uncomfortable for you, that seems ridiculous for you. You know, I'm reminded of my nieces a couple of years ago. They're very little. They were probably about 6 to 8 years old at that time. And they went to visit cousins of theirs in KZN. And when they were there, they were telling the story of Jesus, how he was crucified so cruelly, and he was, you know, the children can be quite graphic, and you know, one of them is just like such a storyteller, and she's like, they put nails through his palms of his hands and through his feet, and they dragged him through the streets of this Jerusalem, and they hung him up on the cross, and they put a crown, and it made his blood gush, and then they stabbed him in the side, and she was telling the story, and one of her little cousins, who was about 6 to 8 years old as well, said, "Unamanga bongiwe, unamang. Where were the cops? Where were the cops? How could that happen?" Courage is when you are able to listen to someone tell you a story of their lived experience that's so unbelievably gory, so unbelievably unrelatable, so unbelievably ridiculous in its just inhumanity. But you hold your tongue and you hold the space and you let them tell you their story in a way that takes you through the feelings of it. So, when you are courageous with yourself, you hold space for your own emotions. You don't judge them to be right or wrong, or black or white, or good or bad. You hold space for them, you listen, you check, you look, you feel them. You be kind to yourself. You listen for what they're trying to tell you. We need the courage to do that, first for ourselves, and then for the next person. Because the next bit of time we are going through is going to need us to have some real deep, meaningful conversations that will require courage to hold. Courage is helpful when we need to hear someone's uncomfortable truth, but it is also the thing that strengthens our resolve and helps us to see a bright future beyond the gory details of the rotten here and now. Courage allows us to see the facts or the reality for what it is, no matter how it makes us feel. I'm not saying regardless of how it makes us feel. I'm saying no matter how it makes us feel. It's the thing that allows us to hold our tongue and not lash out irrationally because we're uncomfortable, but continue to hold that space to feel the emotions and decode the messages that they are telling us without judgment, so that we have that data available to us as wisdom to make our lives better. Because if we are not present and able to listen and hear ourselves and each other right now, we are bound to repeat everything that has happened. If we are not able to hear, and I mean, I'm talking about from a personal standpoint to right through to our leadership telling us stay home as much as possible, put your mask on, and all of those things. Yes, we're over it, right? It's been too many days. We've just been doing this for so long. So what? It is still the right thing to do. Courage is doing the right thing when it pinches, because you know it's the right thing to do. We through courage, can decide to act in line with the right thing to do and feel no robbery in the situation. Because courage is the conversation that happens between our mind and our heart to bring us into alignment. It is not us denying our feelings. It is us choosing to align our feelings with what is required for us to accomplish what courage requires of us. Ne? Yo, what requires of angaka. The root word for courage is cor. It's a Latin word for heart. It is one of the earliest forms of the word courage. It meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Of course, over time, this definition has changed. But we need courage. We need courage. We are in a time of our lives where it's not enough to roll with the punches, to do what's expected of us automatically, just in G. Because what happens is that we leave ourselves behind with feelings of aggrievement, with feelings that this is being done to me, because we are passengers in our lives. With courage, we are choosing to participate. We are consciously present in our lives. And that's a key ingredient of how we build this future, how we build this life for our children and our children's children. So I'm going to take you through some benefits of courage, because of course there are benefits, otherwise why are we doing this, right? Courage, in a sense, is acting in a way that responds to risk appropriately. No, not overconfidently or in a cowardly way. It also helps us to accomplish good things. Courage helps us to act against those who threaten or act in a bad way. Because what happens is that you do need courage to actually be confident. Courage comes with boldness, you know, and that bravery, that lever, comes from courage. It's like, and I'm not talking about Dutch courage, you know, some of you are like, yes, I'll drink to that Dutch courage. No, not liquid courage. True courage. The congruence between your heart and your mind. When you're acting courageously, you feel more confident. You see things differently. The sun definitely is brighter. I'm not saying you're like all positive, butterflies, everything, but you definitely are able to assess the situation for forward movement. When you are courageous, you lift others up. You know, the word encouraging, people always need encouraging. So when you are courageous within yourself, you are in effect encouraging to others. And when you are courageous, you gain experience, because courage actually is the thing that makes you take chances that you normally wouldn't, you know, because you're more open to new experiences. There's a curiosity that comes with courage. Courage is like, it could work. You know, it's that thing that's willing. It's a willingness. At the very heart of courage is a willingness. There's a surrender to courage that understands that there is a greater power. There is, you know, a grand design, if you will, that we are not just going through this life to be going through this life. That we are part of the whole, you know. And I mean, courageous people are more successful. Right in the beginning, I quoted to you Sir Richard Branson, whose line is, "Screw it, let's do it." Those are the lines of courage. Incidentally, they're also the lines of success. And you never hear a person say, "Screw it, let's do it," when they are standing in a situation where everybody agrees that the best way is to move forward. No. It is when there's adversity. It is when you are standing in a conversation with people who have a problem for every solution that you've got to say, screw it, let's do it. And thus, courageous people are admired. And courageous people are truly happy. Because, I never thought of myself as a courageous person. But I see courageous people everywhere I go. And I think that's a sign that I might just have a little bit of courage, tiny little bit of courage within myself. Because courage has everything to do with getting congruent. Body, mind, will, emotions. Because it is first and foremost about being present in this moment and taking stock and listening to myself, to my emotions, to my mind, and taking full stock and having full awareness to say, okay, yes, yes, yeah, it pinches there, right. So if it pinches there, so it's almost like I'm the doctor of my own self. First, I listen to myself without judgment, hold space for my feelings, look at my situation without judging it, and then decide on a course of action. This is how courage works. Courage is the thing that will make you decide to forgive. It takes courage to decide to forgive. It takes courage to love. To love takes courage. Because you know what, ne? You can go throughout the whole world. Every single human being on this planet has at least one reason that you could find if you look long and hard enough not to love them. But if you choose to love them, it is usually because you courageously go, I'm gonna love you anyway. It takes courage. To practice patience takes courage. Because it's a decision. It's a thing that you do. It's an active thing. It may look passive because, we think of patience like patiently just lying there waiting for something. No, it's an active thing because while you're being patient, you need to keep your mind positively expecting that this situation is going to work out for your good. You need to keep your mind surrendered to the possibility of your bloom, blossom, thrive coming through. Otherwise, you're not being patient. You're just lying there. Speaking up for yourself takes courage. Taking a chance takes courage. Leaving an unsuitable situation takes courage. Getting that sale, speaking to that guy or girl, showing up fully, unapologetically as yourself takes courage. It all takes courage. And the good news is that when you decide to be courageous in a situation, everything you need to make it work shows up for you. Because you know what courage does? It makes it non-negotiable that you are moving forward. Courage is literally, I've decided this is where I'm going to go. You can't be courageous and indecisive at the same time. It's just, those two can't be in the same room. Now look at who's been talking to us. Savant Mupedi. Hello, Savant Mupedi. It's so nice to see the Mupedis. He says, so motivating speech. Indeed, you're exactly right. Thank you. We like that. Oh my goodness. Mzege Njayam. Anyway, he says, your voice makes me emotional. I can't stand this. I do hope you stuck around. We have more. And Rashida Khan says, very true. Need to be honest with ourselves and be brave enough to stand by our truths. Oh my goodness, that is so true. That is so, so true. Guys, I do thank you very much for joining us. It means a lot to us. We love, love, love getting to spend this time with you. We prepare for it heartily and we take it extremely seriously, like that we get to actually do this with you. So, this is the Soul Dive, and those of you who've been with us for a while know this, that it is not the Soul Dive without a call to action. I've told you about courage. We've talked about courage for a bit. I've got a call to action for you. I would like you, over the next few days, to take this courageous action. To answer this question, how are you feeling? No, really. I want to know. In fact, I don't want to know. I want you to know. At the end of the exercise, I want you to know how you are feeling, really. And resist the urge to say frustrated, tired, over this, and just throw out quick words. Ask yourself in at least 5 different ways. And then sit down with a pen and paper and write it down. Commit to writing for 5 minutes. Just for 5 minutes. Maybe it's just typing on your phone. Just sit and type. Ask yourself the question, how am I feeling? Maybe ask it in different ways. You know, what does my life feel like? Am I happy? Really, really listen to yourself. How does it feel to be you right now in your life? How does it feel inside your skin right now? In Leboville right now, what does it feel like? All right. Maybe a key is also what's currently irritating you. Just grating your carrot. And then just write for 5 minutes. Write to yourself. You don't need to send it to me. You can if you want to, but you don't need to send it to me. Have a courageous conversation with yourself. We are all going through really deep emotions right now in our own spaces as well as collectively. So please take courage to hold this space for yourself, to ask yourself, and then the courageous part is not the asking. The courageous part is the listening. Because your emotions that come up are what you're going to need to be courageous for. That's when you're going to need courage. Because it's going to take courage to not judge them quickly and dismiss them. It's going to take courage to not justify them quickly and dismiss them. It's going to take courage to not categorize them quickly and shelve them. I really am asking you to really take stock. Do you need to talk to someone? What emotions are real and true for you right now? What is coming up for you? I know that I am angry on some level when I find myself swearing a little bit more. I know that I'm angry on some level when I cannot find the song in my heart when I wake up in the morning. How are you? How are you feeling? What emotions are happening in you right now? What is grating your carrot? What is just... Answer yourself honestly. Do you need to talk to someone? Take the time to sit with those emotions. Feel them. Feel them. Feel them. Feel, if it's anger, feel the Tabasco sauce coming up your legs. If it's anxiety, feel the butterflies flying in your stomach. Feel them. Write them down. Understand yourself. Hold the space to understand what you're feeling. And then the next step in courage is to, when you encounter other people, just remind yourself that they may be feeling a whole number of different feelings as well. If possible, have such a conversation with one other person. And really Don't listen and be waiting to share a relatable experience that is similar to theirs. No, just hold space, just be quiet, look at them, and just hear them. Let them feel held and heard in your presence. But begin with yourself. Practice the courage to hear yourself first and then hear one other person. This is your call to action from the Soul Dive for this week. That's what I'm asking you to do. How we heal the world is by healing ourselves. You have a responsibility to me, to your mother, to your neighbor, to everyone you encounter, to heal yourself first. And then you can begin to heal others. Because when you walk into a conversation with someone else and you haven't held the space for yourself, what you're going to do is that you're going to walk in there with a whole lot of baggage and it's going to become carnage. It's going to be an accident. If we are to move into the next phase of this collective 2020 we are going through, we are going to need to self-heal, to administer this medicine personally to ourselves first, and then share it with our neighbor, with our friend, with our loved ones. Courage. I have nothing more to say. Okay, I do. Screw it. Let's do it. Because creating a fulfilled life is not an accident. It takes deliberate action. The act of surrender to possibility, to bloom, to blossom, to thrive does not happen unless you have the courage to break ground, to tear down the cocoon, to stand in the rain, or do whatever it takes. The seed in the ground knows you don't become an acorn tree by lying peacefully buried in manure. You have to break through. It may stink. It may feel like it's gonna break you as you're trying to break through. It's gonna be a dirty business. Though it may be muddy, push through. Say it with me. I am a seed. Because anything worth doing deliberately takes courage. It is courage that will wake you up earlier than you need to. It is courage that will show you possibilities where others see only troubles. It is courage that will get you in trouble for speaking your mind. And yet it is also courage that will turn any of your weaknesses into strengths. The things that they looked at and said, oh, awusemnyama, that is going to be the thing that takes you throughout the world. You're going to be world famous for that one thing that you thought was a weakness. The thing that was a weakness, a thing that was an insult when people mentioned it about you. If you take courage, that is the key to your very success in life. Take courage. Others may see scars, but only you know the internal resources it took to live beyond that fight. The only person you need to be in line with in this life is yourself. So get your mind, your will, your emotions, and your body to move together. Take courage. You've got this. This is the Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. I thank you for tuning in. I love spending this time with you. Mwah! Until next time.